And it's just a huge honor today to be podcast interviewing Rob Camacho. Thank you so much for coming over.
Thank you for having me.
He is a PGA professional who is based at the Ahwatukee Golf Club, which is known as the Ahwatukee Country Club. Rob offers golf coaching programs for adults and juniors on a year-round basis and has been instructing and coaching since 1996. Rob offers golf coaching on the golf course, which is commonly known as a playing lesson, which he believes is the best learning environment. Rob believes all golfers at every level can benefit from professional instruction. And I wanted to have you on the show so bad because one of the neatest things my father ever did is I was a little boy. I grew up with 5 sisters. And my little brother wasn't born until my senior year of high school because my parents were Catholic. That's all I'm going to say. And I kept asking my dad when he'd go golfing on Saturday, can I go, can I go, can I go? So one day he said, okay, you can go. And so I was all excited and everything. We got to the deal, and my dad was playing these guys, and he says, is that guy playing with you? And he said, no. And I looked at my dad like, no. Why do you say no? And he said, rule number 1 in golf, the first 10 times you touch a club, you do it with a golf pro. He said, Howie, if you get out there and start slicing and hooking the ball and you keep doing that, he said, it'll take a golf pro the rest of your life to get rid of your hook and your slice. He said, so always start smart. So I was going to ask you in front of all these parents in Ahwatukee, do you believe that the first 10 times a kid touches a club, he should do it right to learn it right out of the gate?
It definitely helps. I mean, obviously I'm biased. I do it for a living. I do it day in and day out. But you know, we're in a world right now. People can go to the internet right now. Even if you want to search anything with golf, it's available 24/7. And for the consumer, the parent, it's free. But at the end of the day, if you want your child to get it done, I can go on what is the right way. That can be debated, but it does help. And having a professional, speaking for myself, I've been doing it since 1996, and you can only get so much of watching so many videos online. However, when it's done live with professional experience, it's nothing better.
So tell us your journey. How did you end up a PGA golf course? Were you kind of like the Serena, Vanessa Williams? Is it Serena and Vanessa Williams
in the tennis world?
Where the parents started them when they could barely walk? Was that your journey? Did your dad?
No, a little different. Speaking of my dad's still alive. Knock on wood, is still around. Plays golf. He started me, introduced me. Back then, there weren't really junior clubs. It was just cut-down clubs that my dad gave me. Cut down, steel shaft, and I grew up in the era that I actually played with a wooden golf club. I'm talking about the head. Didn't have the big titanium drivers that we have today. So I started with cut-down clubs that were too heavy, and he just basically told me to go out there and hit it. He didn't give me really any instruction per se, but at least he exposed me to the game, and it's something I'd love to do. And had no idea as a kid I'd be in the profession of coaching, but I give a lot of credit to my dad as well as my mom to help me pursue what I wanted to do. So how did I get where I am today? Well, he was the start. He was the originator of my golf game.
At what age?
I would say about 5, 6.
That's young.
That's young. And from there was a little break because at that time, kids that I grew up with didn't play golf. And golf was kind of labeled as, that's grandpa's sport. So
or a rich guy sport.
Or right.
It's a lot cheaper to play soccer in the park than
it's all easy pickup games and to play golf. So golf was always available. It was something that was never pushed on me. It was just something that was available. I had my first golf lesson at age 16, and just got hooked at 16, and continued progress. Got a job at a country club where I grew up in California.
Where were you born and raised?
I grew up in West Los Angeles, California.
Yeah.
Then my parents moved to the San Gabriel Valley, east of Los Angeles, and worked at a country club called South Hills Country Club right out of high school. And I said, wow, this is a great gig. Looking at, when I say that, I'm talking about the professionals on staff. And I talked to the head pro, hey, how do I do what you do? He told me there are different avenues you can go. I mean, if it's something you want to do, I'll train you. I'll show you how to do what I do. I wanted to teach. I didn't necessarily want to become the head pro per se and run the facility. I just wanted to be outside teaching, coaching adults and kids. And it so happened that my dad knew about this golf college in San Diego called the San Diego Golf Academy, and decided to make a trip down to San Diego and enrolled and started my journey in the golf business.
Wow. Now, we're just getting into October. The snowbirds are coming down. I've been here for 30 years. It seems like within 2 miles of Ahwatukee is a big retirement community.
Yes.
And a lot of them just retired. What if you just retired and you always wanted to play golf, but you've never done it? Is it pretty hard to learn golf at 65?
Not at all. It's never too old. The only, I would say, handicap is in the person's mind, because some people can talk them. I hear it. I hear the discussions on the golf course. Oh, I'm too old. It's too late. It's never too late. It's never too late.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, for me, when I coach somebody, I ask a lot of questions. I don't necessarily dive in and say you have to hold it this way, you have to stand this way. A lot of what I do, especially with people that are in age of retirement, whatever that age is, and they say that it's, you know, I'm too old, I shouldn't be doing this, maybe I can't do it. I look upon what do they do to get where they're at, whatever profession it is. So I draw upon their own personal experiences, their own profession, their career, their hobbies, other sports they played, and somehow I will tie that into if they hire me, their first golf lesson.
Give an example of how another sport could help you in golf.
Well, let's see a guy that plays football. I say, okay, you played football. What was your highest level? I played in high school. Okay, prior to high school, did you play Pop Warner football? He'll say yea or nay. Well, let's just go with the high school level. Okay, how many years you play? I played 4 years in high school. Okay, were you a varsity all 4? He'll give me the area of experience. So if the guy's a varsity player, and he says, I was starting quarterback. Okay, well, that tells me he's got a good hand coordination. He likes a team atmosphere. Obviously, he can take discipline and guidance. He can be coached. He's coachable. So I'll say, okay, so you obviously know how to throw different distances in terms of a football. 10, 20, 30, 40 yards. What's your longest back? I can throw it 70 yards. Fantastic. Okay, here's what you're going to do. See the ball in front of you? It's approximately 30 yards away. Go ahead. I'm not going to tell you how to do it. I just want to see what you do. And I'll watch his motion. And sometimes they'll do it the first time and hit that number, let's say 30 yards. But then he'll ask me, did I do it right? And I'll say to him, well, the ball went to the target, so the ball told you did it correctly. And so for him, he needed validation that he did it correctly, meaning my grip, my stance, my posture, my shaft angle, my face angle. I said, did you think about that stuff? No, I just did it. There you go. Keep doing that. So that's an example of how I can draw somebody's past experience for whatever sport they played into golf. Now, for him, it was eye-hand coordination.
So let's just say he moved down here and he just got retired, he just got his pension, he's got a little extra cash. How much success can you buy? I mean, I see Golf Magazine where they've always got this special club, this special driver.
Yeah.
How much of a percent better if you bought the nicest versus you got the clubs at Walmart?
I mean, that's a very good question, because there's some people that go that route. You know, they go the Walmart route because they can buy it X dollars versus, 5, 10 times more for a top-of-the-line equipment. Depends on the player.
So go through cars. So GM has 5 price points. They have a Chevy, Pontiac, Olds, Buick, Cadillac. What in your mind is the lowest cost Chevy that'll work? Get you to work,
sure.
Get you to and from the store, and go all the way up to what would be the Cadillac?
Well, your top brands right now in the golf industry, I'll just roll them off. I roll them off quickly. TaylorMade, Titleist, Ping. You have a company that's fairly new called PXG. Now, PXG is a high-end premium club that was founded and is owned by Bob Parsons, the guy, if anyone knows who Bob Parsons is, he's the founder of GoDaddy in the .com world of domains. And
really, he started golf because wasn't Ping started here?
Well, Ping started here in the Valley. It's a local company. Karsten Solheim.
That's
started
right.
Ping.
And is he still running it? Or?
Karsten Solheim passed away, so it's a family-owned business, and his sons run the company now.
Because I think they, when I went to ASU, I think the golf course.
It was named after Karsten.
Yeah. So Karsten Solheim started Ping, and that's an Arizona company.
That's an Arizona company.
And then Bob Parsons of GoDaddy started PGX.
Called PXG stands for Parson Extreme Golf, or Parsons Extreme Golf. PXG.
I did not know that the Valley of the Sun was responsible for 2 different sets of clubs.
Yeah.
Holy moly, that is really cool. So, have you ever met Bob Parsons?
I have not. not as of yet. I mean, love to meet the guy. I mean, I don't know.
Well, shout out to everybody on Ahwatukee. Anybody knows GoDaddy Bob Parsons, PXG. Rob wants to meet him.
So, yeah, he's got a high-end product and pleasing to the eye. They're very good-looking clubs. At least that's my opinion. So I think he's going to do very well. Now, he's on the high end. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Howard. He's on the high end. He's proud to say he's got the most expensive clubs out that is available on the market.
But I got to shout out to Bob Parsons and his adorable wife. In Phoenix, there's a couple of free dental clinics. Brighter Way, Cass, some of the nicest dental offices I've ever been in my life. And guess who wrote the check for that?
Mr. Bob Parsons.
Mr. Bob Parsons. So Bob Parsons, thank you, because it's one thing to go down on an evening after work and do some volunteer dentistry on homeless. And believe it or not, it's so sad at Brighter Way. You know what most of the homeless are? I mean, like well over half, maybe 2/3. Vets.
I was going to guess and say vets.
They're vets.
It's a shame. That shouldn't happen.
Oh my God!
It shouldn't happen in our country.
Yeah, I mean, why is a vet homeless?
Right.
Post-traumatic stress disorder. The withdrawal. Would rather just live on the sidewalk than deal with, society.
Right,
but anyway,
right.
But thank you, Bob Parsons, for that.
So yeah. So to answer your question about where should someone go in terms of equipment, it depends on what they're looking for. So
I'm just curious. What would you said those PXGs are the nicest?
They're on the high end. They're on the high end.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? So off the top of my head, what would a set of irons and drivers, fairway club, what would a set cost? You're probably looking at $1,500 to $2,000 or more, depending on if you're custom fitted.
And my advice is when you buy clubs, never buy a 1-iron. Because not even God can hit
that's a good one. That's right. The 1-iron.
No, you're supposed to, during a lightning storm, you're supposed to use a 1-iron.
Yeah, that was
God
one
could hit a
of
1-iron.
Lee Trevino, the famous golfer's famous quote. One of his quotes were, "Not even God could hit a 1-iron." But the 1-iron is pretty much a dinosaur. Not many companies even offer a 1-iron in these days because of the introduction of the hybrid, which is a cross between an iron and a fairway club that has replaced long irons, the hybrids.
So is the ping really named after the sound that if you hit the ball right, it ping?
He did have one of his original putters that actually made that sound. So when the ball left the club face, it did have that ping sound.
So let's take another one-liner, true or false. You drive for show and putt for dough.
Yes.
Do you agree or disagree with that one?
Well, there's different schools of thought on that because if you can't get the ball in the fairway, how many putts will it, eventually what will be your score be at the end of that hole? So, but there's some truth to that. The drive for putt, or is it the drive for show? Drive for show, putt
because
for dough.
Because all those football players who played varsity you talk about. But what I love about golf, the thing I love the most about golf is that, at the end of 18 holes, after 100 strokes, one of them was as good as a pro.
Right.
And that makes you forget the 99 where people are like, did your mom drop you when you were little?
Right.
And so that's what's cool about golf. Just one good swing. And some of those guys, what just drives them is that one of those 18 holes, they will just knock it as far as they can.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean,
that's what keeps them coming back.
For some, it's that long ball, that long drive to smash it as far as you can. And for some, it's, draining a 50-foot putt that, I'm sure the player was thinking it's not going to go in, but it goes in, and that made their day. So even one shot, no matter what it is, a drive, a pitch, a chip, a bunker shot, can make a person's day for them to want to come back and play the game.
Yeah. So I notice some people that are seniors, and sorry I keep talking about seniors, I don't want to make this. Is it a senior sport? Or is it, I mean, the majority, is 50% retirees, or is it only a third, or what's the mix?
You've got a mix. I mean, it's not just for retirees. I mean, you've got juniors. Now, what is a junior golfer? Well, a junior golfer is just generally any kid that's under the age of 18 is considered a junior golfer. And within that segment of golf, you have juniors that play tournament golf. And there are kids that play in elite tournaments, and some of those elite tournaments where they travel across the country and compete against other elite juniors. And then, of course, you have kids that play on their high school golf team.
So does Desert Vista Mountain Point have a golf team?
Oh yes, yeah. I would say all the schools here in the valley have a high school team.
What about the Ahwatukee middle schools?
Middle schools. Now, here's the thing about the middle schools and the elementary schools. There are some middle schools and elementary schools that have a golf program, but they're not necessarily competing against other kids. It's a golf pro like myself would go to the school directly and do their coaching actually on the field, whatever the field it is, the baseball field, the football field, and actually do a program within the school at the school.
So juniors under 18.
Yes.
What if mom and dad are out there watching and they're junior and wants to do this? How does it work? Is it like a set of 10? You buy a package of 10 lessons, or?
Well, speaking for myself, I have different programs. I'm going to be starting a junior clinic on Saturdays that I haven't set the date yet, but that's coming up in November. That's going to be about 50 minutes to an hour. It's going to be $20 per child, which includes the range balls and the professional coaching and instruction. I offer a coaching program that kids meet in what I call not a group lesson, but I call it a team session, where it's up to 6 kids that meet for 90 minutes once a week. And those are programs designed for kids that eventually want to play some tournament golf and be competitive, not only amongst themselves, but compete against other kids their age. So where could a kid start? If a kid is unsure or parents unsure, I recommend start with the clinics, see if your son or daughter has an interest, and if they show a big interest, then I would introduce them to some private lessons, one-on-one.
And how much is a private lesson?
A private lesson with me is $40 a half hour. Or I do offer, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you out. I do offer a series of 4 for $150.
4 for $150. And so, let's see, so 2 would be 75, half of 75, what would that be?
Yeah, $37.50.
$37.50
per lesson, and that includes the bucket of balls.
And that's a half hour?
That's a half hour.
Half hour.
I'm sorry, I'm doing 45 minutes, excuse me.
So your website is azgolfinstructor.com.
Correct.
azgolfinstructor.com. And what are they going to find if they go to azgolfinstructor.com?
Well, they're going to find just my very typical that what we post as far as instructional services. Obviously, my rates. There's a bio about me. It's a blog, is what it is. There's some information, articles I've written. You can see a history of articles I've written on there on various topics of the game of golf, equipment, a little bit of instruction. I don't offer a lot of instruction on that website. And the reason being is not that I want to withhold information. It's just the experience of seeing me live and working with me live is far better than me putting it in print.
Right on. And so juniors under 18.
Yes.
And then everyone else is.
Well, everyone else, I guess, would be considered an adult, over 18. I don't necessarily myself market towards different demographics. It's either you're under 18 in the junior category or anyone over 18 is an adult.
That's a great question. I asked, what percent are junior or elder. Golf today, what percent is boy-girl?
As far as the numbers, I personally don't know what that percentage is. Just from my own experience, I do see it's heavily more on the boys. However, there are more girls that I'm seeing that are playing now that when I started in the early 90s, there weren't that many girls that I saw coming to the golf course I worked at, and I was working at a public golf course. Now I see more girls coming out regularly.
Who's your famous female golf idol, and who's your famous male golf idol?
Female, gosh, there's so many of them. What would be, I would have to say, she retired at a young age. Lorena Ochoa from Mexico had a fantastic career. A number of tournaments she won. She didn't graduate. She got out early, I believe. So she went to U of A.
Really?
Wildcat. And then as far as, hard to pick one professional male golfer. There's so many that go down in history that some are still playing, some are not. I guess I can speak in terms of my era, my generation.
Well, your era. What is your era?
Well,
when
I say,
you give away your age on the program?
Yeah, I'm 46 years old. So
man, you look good.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Good Lord.
Gosh,
I would have absolutely had you in your
I
30s.
would have to say, hey, thank you. I would have to say, I mean, he's in my era. He's not playing right now. It's Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods was born in 77. I was born in 71 from Southern California. And before internet, Tiger Woods in the Southern California area was a big deal. He was a
Tiger
celebrity.
was born in 71?
He was born in 77.
77.
I was born in 71. So Tiger would make the news. I mean, this is before internet. So, I mean, all we had as kids was the paper, the actual newspaper. And Tiger Woods made the newspaper quite a bit. He was in there. And I saw Tiger Woods for the first time. He played in the LA Open. And he was 16 years old at the time. And I followed him for 3 holes. And at 16, you watched that ball fly. You heard the sound coming off the club face that this kid's going to be, he's going to be pro. He's just that good. He was that good at 16.
But how old was he when he started?
Gosh, I believe he was on a TV show called The Mike Douglas Show. He was 3 years old. So I believe 2 or 3 years old his dad started him.
Wow. Wow.
So, and I say Tiger because he changed the game. I mean, he changed the game in a youthful way because at 21 years old when he came on tour, he was the only really. I mean, I know Phil Mickelson was on tour. Now Phil's 47 now, but Tiger just had that youth that he attracted not only kids, which he did, but he attracted kids. I mean, not that I was a kid at the time, but I was my early 20s. But he had that youthfulness, but yet at the same time he had power, and he brought people in the game that otherwise didn't watch or play or wanted to play. He changed the game.
So we got U of A, ASU. They both have golf teams.
Yes.
Maricopa Community College has what? 5 colleges? South Mountain.
Yeah, the community colleges.
Do they have golf teams
They
too?
do have golf teams. So I mean, if kids that want to take it to the next level, whatever their next level is, whether it's community college, a Division III, a Division II, a Division I is your elite players. There are programs out there for kids that want to excel or at least want to compete after high school at different levels.
That's nice. So what do you think of someone tell them something they don't know
About golf or
golf? About golf and lessons, because the thing I always realize I've never seen anybody get a gold medal without a coach. I've seen so many dentists my age that really excelled when they got a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And I guess the bottom line is this. What I think is interesting with people is, what Einstein said, the definition of insanity is do the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. That, if it's not working for you, most people just keep doing it.
Right,
Whether it's a dental office getting a dental consultant to come in and figure out, what is the issue here? Is it the staff? Is it business systems? Is it, what's going on? Or it's your golf or whatever. But it just seems like so many of the most successful people, like you'll talk to really successful CEOs and they got a personal trainer, they got a life coach, they got a business coach. And it just seems like, if you're just born and you're crushing it, write a book.
Right.
But if you're not, why do people keep going to the golf course and cussing and throwing their clubs?
Right. I hear you.
Have you ever seen that?
Oh, I see it. I hear it. I mean, sometimes some of it's comical.
I'll tell you the
sometimes.
craziest thing I ever saw in my life. I was golfing one time, and it was at a dental convention, and it was in Maui. And at the 18th hole was right in front of the Maui. And there was this big old fountain of deals, and it was my buddy. He missed his putt. He picked up his clubs, and he threw them in the fountain.
Yeah, right.
And we're just like, this is like a shy geek dentist.
Right.
Boy, he's screaming like Tarzan.
Showed
and
a different side, didn't he?
He showed me
Right.
a totally different side.
Right.
But why do you think people tolerate doing something year after year after year and expecting a different result to come from where? Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny?
You know what? From my experience, it comes down to factors of. I'll say it this way: a guy takes a golf lesson, felt like he didn't improve, right? He didn't improve, or he signed up for X number of lessons. Then he goes to play golf on Saturday morning with his buddies. The buddies find out that he's taken lessons. Now, a lot of the buddies, they may say, you know what? You're taking lessons. What do you want to play for today? As in, your mind's going to be all jacked up. What do you want to play for today? And some of those buddies of the foursome might tease the guy and said, after he hits a bad shot. Really? You took lessons? You're paying for that? And so I have some of my own students that will not tell their buddies they're coming to see me, even though they're improving. Now, their buddies are starting to notice when their scores are coming down, but some people are reluctant to tell their own personal friends that they're taking lessons because of the ribbing and the teasing that the buddies are going to give them. Now, where does that come from? It comes from guys that have had lessons that didn't have a good experience, and so that didn't work. Guys don't want to feel like, well, I heard my buddy Dave took a lesson and it didn't work for him, so I'm going to save my money. And then you got guys that will tell each other, say, hey, man, after work, I'll help you. Just buy me a 6-pack of beer. And so there's many reasons why people won't do it. But like you talked about other professionals, CEOs hiring coaches and this, and that. But the average golfer, majority of golfers worldwide have never taken a golf lesson. And a lot of them have been playing for a number of years. So there are different reasons why. In this day and age, a lot of them won't do it because they don't have to, because it's free on the internet. YouTube. There's millions of videos on how to fix a slice, how to do this, how to do that. But really, at the end of the day, I mean, are people truly actually getting better with today's freebies, the internet, and with today's technology on equipment and video and all sorts of things? In my opinion, is they're not.
So, what's better? To go to practice, to go down and hit a bucket of balls, or to go play the course?
Well, it's both. I mean, the range serves a purpose, and that purpose is now. When I interview somebody that comes to see me, one of my questions to my person that's in front of me is, why do you play golf? And I'll pause and I'll wait for the answer. Now, their answer then will help me kind of go, where's the map I need to take them? Where's the road on that map they need to follow? And for some, it's, I want to get out of the house. I'm retiring, so I want something to do. Or I'm competitive. I want to play for score. I want to play some tournaments. I want to compete. So that question of why do you play golf varies from player to player. So for me, it's a matter of finding out what's their reason, what's their motive, and when people say they want to improve, I know they do, but how hungry are they? Most people don't. I mean, I'll give you an example of how hungry are people. When it becomes May, when it starts getting hot, hey, Rob, I'll come see you when it gets cooler. Great, so you want to book now in December? And they have a chuckle. I say, well, are you an early riser? Yeah, I get up at 4:30 every morning. Well, I can meet you at the course at 5 a.m. Oh, shoot, man, that's too early. Oh, I got another solution for you. At 5 o'clock, there's shade on the back of the range. We'll be in 100% shade. Oh, it's too hot. Right, but we'll be in the shade. Now, I get the other guy that says, yeah, I get up early. I'll meet you at 5. He's dedicated. He's showing hunger. He wants to improve. Well, if he wants to improve and he sees me, he's going to improve. But, you know, you get a lot of people that they say they want to do well, but the hunger isn't there. So why to answer your question, why do they strive to continue to hit poor shot after poor shot and struggle year after year after year? And the reason why they continue is because they hit that one good shot that lures them back in. And of course, then they're going to listen to the. I see it on the range. I'm in the pro shop. I see it daily. Two strangers start talking, and one guy's helping the other. The one guy helping the other, they both are topping the ball. To me, it's comical. I can't fix my own teeth. I come to a professional. Now, I'm sure people have tried. I'm sure people have pulled their own teeth, and they try, and they have to come see you now because now they've. You know.
They always get the top half out. They just never get the bottom, the root out.
So it's just amazing that people won't
now, when
take
the
lesson.
When you're talking about I'll meet you at 5 or I'll meet you in the shade, are you mostly doing lessons one place, one club? Where? Well, if someone's listening to you in Ahwatukee, where do you give lessons at?
My primary base is Ahwatukee Golf Club, right on 48th and Warner, 48th Street and Warner. The company that
You just called it what?
Ahwatukee Country Club. It's Ahwatukee Golf Club.
It's Ahwatukee
It's Ahwatukee Golf Club, but most people in the area, it's been always Ahwatukee Country Club. That's what most people in the area know Ahwatukee Golf Club as.
And how long have you been playing there?
Well, I've been teaching there since 2015.
2015. Kind of sad about the lakes. That was it was a weird course because the lakes was a short course.
Short course, 18 holes though. It was short.
But due to the lakes, you lost so many balls. My score, was always lower on the Ahwatukee Golf Club or the Ahwatukee Country Club.
Yeah, less water for you.
Oh my god! And then there's this one course in Chandler. I forgot what it was. It's the same thing. It's got all these drain canals and what's the
That
one?
would be in Chandler, San Marcos.
San Marcos.
Yeah, San Marcos.
Oh my
Chandler
god!
Boulevard in
just add 10 points
Arizona.
to your score if you
Yeah.
play that place.
Yeah.
And whatever my distance to drive is just perfect to just plop. I mean, the lakes. My gosh, if I had $1 for every ball I lost in the
Right,
lakes.
right.
But so you primarily like to teach,
Ahwatukee Golf Club.
and are most of your lessons on the range or playing the field?
It's kind of mixed. I mean, I do a lot of on-course coaching, instruction, actually on the golf course. And if I had my druthers, that's all I'd want to do is be with somebody on the course. And the reason for that, I get to see every part of a person's game. And I've got a scoring system that I use with all my players that the scorecard, when we're done with 9 holes, is going to reveal actually what their practice plan will be post-playing.
So are you kind of like Tiger Woods caddy on a golf club? Is that what you're doing? Are you carrying the clubs and picking the club like you're going to pick a 2 or a 3 and why? Or are you guys in a cart?
We're in a cart. I mean, if someone wanted to walk, I'll walk. I always ask what my players want to do. If the guy says, hey, I got my pull cart, I'm going to walk, I'll grab a pull cart too and walk with him. So when I play, a lot of times I actually play my own ball with my students. Some insist I play with them. They want to see how I play. They want to hear me talk through how I'm going to play this next shot. And I'll describe exactly what I'm going to do and then do it. A lot of times I want to see when a player hits a shot. Give you an example. Player hits a shot in the trees, and I assess the lie, how's the ball, and I'll ask them, if I wasn't here, what would you do? They'll say, I'm going to grab my 3-wood, and I'm going to hit as hard as I can and get it close to the green or on the green. Okay. So if it's a new student that I've never seen play, I'm going to let him do that and look at the result. Most of the time, it's not very good. And so I said, here's what you're going to do. You're going to take an 8-iron, and you need, according to my GPS on my watch, you need 77 yards to the 100 marker. Take the 8-iron.
What do you mean GPS on your watch? Your watch?
Yeah, so
You got to sync to the flag?
So the GPS that I have gives me yardages on the golf course. So it tells me X number of yards to the front of the green, the middle of the green, and the back of the green.
And what watch does that?
Well, this company that I use is Garmin.
Yeah, Garmin.
Bushnell, the binocular company.
And you know, I
Bushnell.
love Garmin. I was born and raised in Wichita, Kansas.
That's
Garmin,
where they're headquartered,
Garmin
right?
is the biggest brand out of Kansas.
There you go.
You know the biggest brand started headquartered out of Arizona?
Biggest in Arizona. I have no idea.
Best Western.
Best Western Hotels.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But in Kansas,
we learned something new on the show.
It's Garmin.
Garmin.
Yeah.
So I would say, okay, here's the 8-iron. You need 77 yards to the 100. How would you play it? I said, well, I would be less than a full swing. Well, show me what that is without a ball. Okay, here's your second ball. Go ahead. And they hit the ball. Let's say they hit it 87 yards. The previous shot that they hit with 3-wood is out of bounds. But they're conditioned that because they're far away or the trees, they had to hit it low. That was their experience of using the 3-wood. I said, you have other options. Let me show you. I can show you 5 different options on how to advance the ball. And then once we get inside the 100, I tell my player if he's a guy that shoots in the high 90s to 100, it's okay, now you got to get the ball. The goal is, can you get the ball in the hole in 3 shots or less once you're inside the 100? And if he succeeds, he makes bogey.
So if someone came out here and because in Arizona, when I moved out here, I figured out how I had all these friends I didn't realize I had.
Yeah.
Can I come out and visit you in February? And it's great because me and my sister and my mom's brother live out here, but I don't have to worry about seeing any of my family because they're always going to come here in the winter. But you have different levels of golf. So sometimes your friends come out here and say, I want to play on the nicest course in Arizona. And then some people are on budget and say, I want to play on the lowest cost course.
Right.
But if you had some classmate from college coming out here and said, man, I want to go play the nicest course in Arizona, what would you tell them?
I would say just because it's on TV every year is the TPC in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Because of, it hosts the PGA Tour. That's a big deal for a lot of people to play a course that the PGA Tour pros play on. Plus, it's always in great shape, and it's a public golf course. Anyone can play it.
And if you lived in Ahwatukee and someone said, I'm on low budget, I'm still in school, I'm on student loans.
Come see us at Ahwatukee Golf Club.
Is that considered low budget, low price?
Well, I mean, it's not the lowest, it's not the highest, it's that mid range, but it's accessible in terms of where people are in the valley. You got all the community, the cities are right. They butt up against each other. Tempe, Gilbert, Chandler. The city of.
So here's another question you get. Because seniors are always thinking about this. Okay, if I go out and play 18 holes, but I use a cart, is that exercise or is that a game?
I got you. Is it a sport? Is it a game? So there's always
a sport or is it a game?
I mean, there. And don't quote me on this, but I read an article that there are studies that show that golfers that walk or ride, obviously walking, you're gonna get a little bit more benefit in terms of your heart rate up and walking, but as a whole, golfers tend to live 5 years longer by playing the game. Golfers in general.
Golfers live 5 years longer.
Live 5 years longer.
Well, as a dentist, I can beat that.
Yeah.
Did you know that people who floss every day live 6.5 years longer?
So then, if we add the golfers and the flossing, now we got 11.5. There we go. So I mean,
remember that lawsuit about the guy who wanted to use a cart because he had a medical disability?
Yes, his name is Casey Martin, and now Casey Martin was actually a PGA Tour member, fantastic player. He's now the head coach for I believe it's the Oregon. I don't know, Oregon State or Oregon, the Ducks.
The Ducks.
The Ducks. He's the head coach of the men's golf team.
That was a very controversial deal. A lot of the players didn't think that was fair, and other people thought, "Hey, he has a medical condition.
Yeah,
give him a break."
Because the PGA Tour mandates that when they play their tournaments that everyone walks. My opinion, I was in for him playing. I mean, he had a limited time playing. I mean, is taking a cart going to make him shoot lower scores than the other guys? No. I was in favor for the cart.
So I want to ask you a very controversial question. This will surely get you in trouble.
Okay.
The research is clear that when you study humans and all the great apes, gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, bonobos, gibbons, and all 187 species of monkeys, that female monkeys and apes make 5 words or 5 sounds for every one the male does. And I've noticed that when you play with 4 men, most of them there's no talking, especially in driving. It's very serious.
Okay.
And when you go play with 3 girls, they're just jibber jabbering the whole time. Are girls more likely to go out there and make it a social event and talk during the whole deal, or do girls make it a silence religion too, and it's all serious? Or
different scenarios. So let's say you've got 3 women that are friends, and then here comes a 4th woman that is joining up with the 3 because it's a busy golf course and she wants to play golf, and she can't go out as a single because the course is too busy. So I would say my experience that women are very good at welcoming other women on the golf course.
Very good at what?
Welcoming in someone new. They're very good at cheerleading another woman in terms of whether it's a good shot or a bad shot. They'll make a nice comment. If it's a bad shot, hey, don't worry about it. You'll do good on the next one. Wow, that was a fantastic shot, Sally. Hey, you made your putt for par. Good job for you. Now, guys on the other end, it depends. I mean, if it's 4 guys that know each other, there's going to be some talking because they know each other. If it's 3 guys that know each other well and a single joins, will there be some talking? Depends on the 3 guys. But I would say, as a whole, women are going to be more inclusive and more freely talking right away than guys, especially if the guys don't know each other.
Another one-liner you always hear. You hear a lot of people say that only 10% of golfers break 100 if they keep score correctly. Mm-hmm. But when you play a lot of golf, keeping score correctly, how many people? Well, that's a gimme.
Right.
But if you played it like PGA rules,
yes.
Is it true only 10% would break 100?
It's a very low percentage of people that actually would break 100, and it's because, here, give you an example. A guy hits it out of bounds on the first tee. He's got his buddies with him, and you have other groups on the tee are waiting their turn to be called if it's a busy course. Not many people let's say the guy hits out of bounds and doesn't know it's out of bounds. The rule is you hit what's called a provisional ball. You hit a second ball. If the first ball is clearly out of bounds, the rules state that that player has to drive or walk all the way back to the first tee and re-hit. Now, not many
I've never
people,
seen anyone do that.
well, because either they don't because of embarrassment, or they don't know the rule, or the buddies will say, you know what, just drop one here, put one here, and we'll count you as an extra stroke or two. Depends on what rules they want to play.
Well, let me ask you it this way: what percent of golfers do you think actually keep score exactly like they would be in a PGA tournament? Like knowing they're out of bounds, knowing all the rules.
Gosh, because you got different groups of players. I mean, you got guys that play in let's say, the men's club, the women's club. Those guys are going to abide by the rules because they're playing under tournament conditions. But your average guy that goes out there and tees it up, whether he keeps score by the rules or his own version of score, it's a very low percentage. Very low percentage of people actually playing by the rules because a lot of guys will give each other putts. Hey, Dave, that was 4 feet. That's good. What'd you make, 4? No, dude, you didn't hole it out. But they'll write 4 on the card. But your tournament, when I say tournament players, I'm talking about guys that belong to the men's club. And any public golf course, there's usually a men's club that plays on Saturdays or some day during the week. Those guys will play by the rules. Now, the women, in my experience and opinion, the women will call other women out to me, my experience, quicker than a guy would if they saw someone cheating. Whether purposely cheating or accidental cheating, or didn't know the rules. They made a rules infraction. Women will call each other out very quick. They are sticklers by the rules. Of all the clubs I worked at, I see it.
I've never seen anybody say that ball's out of bounds. I mean,
Some people actually play it that's out of bounds, not knowing that it's out of bounds.
Yeah.
Because they don't know the rules.
Yeah. So what's the biggest trouble? Is it a sand trap? Is that the worst mistake you can make? The worst would be going in the water.
Yeah, there's pros and cons of that mentally in terms of you know the rules. I'll give you an example. There are 2 types of water hazards. There's a lateral water hazard, and I'll explain the difference of both. Then there's a regular water hazard. A lateral water hazard on the golf course is going to be identified and physically marked by red stakes or a red painted line on the ground. And then a regular water hazard will be a yellow line or a yellow stake. The difference of the two. If the ball goes in the water and it's a red lateral water hazard, the player has 5 options. One is re-tee it from the tee box or wherever the ball went in the water. Option 2 would be you can go in the water and try and play it. That could happen, right? You could go in the water and try and play it. Option 3 would be where the ball last crossed the margin, taking that line and the player can go back as far as he or she wants and drop it from there. Then you have 2 club lengths from where it last crossed the margin. If there's room on the other side of the water, player can proceed over there. Those are your 5 options. On the other hazard, the yellow, you have 3 options. Re-tee it, drop it in a drop zone, should be properly marked on the golf course with a big white ring with a sign that says free drop zone or drop, or play it in the water. Those are your 3. So if, for example, I played the other day with a student, had a playing lesson, my first ball went in the water. I took my drop, I took my line, I backed up from where it crossed, I backed up 50 yards so I can drop on a flat spot and proceeded to I made bogey. Now, where players make the mistake, if they take the 2 club lengths and they're on a side hill lie, they drop it, and if they don't have much experience on a side hill lie, well, the next shot either, they top it or they hit so far away from the green they end up making double, triple, or worse. So sometimes the rules can help a player if he understands how to proceed. Now, when it comes to the bunkers in Arizona, especially...
The bunkers, sand
traps. People call them sand traps, but the correct term is bunker.
I've never heard that in 55 years.
Really? Bunker?
I've never heard it called a bunker.
So most people call it the sand trap. There's some other names, the beach.
Yeah, the beach.
The beach. Some of the courses, the sand is very firm and compact, and I use a term called sandcrete, where it's it's like hard dirt. And those can pose a challenge, especially if you don't have experience with those shots. So for some players, the bunker is avoided at all costs because of past experience not being very good. And the scores can go up pretty quickly when the player's in the bunker and skyrockets over the green into another out of bounds from the bunker. So it depends on the player and the player's skill level.
So I notice when my friends that play tennis, the serious ones, they put their balls in a pressure container.
Okay.
And the ball is everything.
Okay.
So if you're a golfer and you're a really good golfer, what we went through golf clubs. We went TaylorMade, Titleist, Ping, PGX. Do balls.
Oh, I mentioned the other one, Callaway.
Callaway.
Callaway's a top brand.
Callaway. What about golf balls?
Well, I'll start with the better player. The better player. What is the better player? The player that plays tournament golf. The player that, when plays golf, no matter if it's tournament or casual, is going to abide by the rules. Titleist is the premium brand, and their model is the Pro V1 and the Pro V1X. And they
Pro
are
V1 and
Pro V1 and Pro V1X. According to the PGA Tour statistics, that is the number one ball played on the PGA Tour.
And what would a pack of those balls cost?
Dozen balls from at the premium Pro V1, Pro V1X, you're looking at, I'm just going to around even $50.
$50.
Give or take tax. So let's just say $50. And that's for a dozen balls.
So what if you didn't have that kind of money, but you wanted a good ball?
I would say what would be a good ball that's not in the $50 price point? You've got Callaway's Chrome Soft. That's going to be in your $40 range, I believe. The Callaway Chrome Soft.
And do you just play those balls till they're in the water or the lake or missing in action, or do you look at your ball and
well, the balls do. I mean, if a guy hits it, let's say a better player. When I say better player, let's say a guy that's a 10 handicap down below to a scratch or even better than that. Hits a drive, hits the cart path, and wherever it bounces, the guy can play it. At the end of the hole, he's going to look at his ball. Now, it could be scuffed up. That particular player may look at it and say, no, that's going to go in my practice bag. I'm going to break out a new one. Or he might say, you know what, I'm going to use it till I can't use it anymore and get my full value out of the $50 I spent for 12 balls. So your better player understands the difference between the premium ball versus a ball that you can buy at Walmart for $9.95 for a dozen. That good player is not going to play that ball, and he or she can tell the difference.
Is that Walmart ball? A good player can tell the difference.
Oh yeah, I can tell the difference. Definitely.
Yeah.
If I'm playing tournament golf, I'm playing the Titleist Pro V. That to me is the superior ball in the market today.
Yeah. And what's the Walmart brand?
Gosh, I don't even know if they have a Walmart brand.
Or I mean, what?
But I tell you what, speaking of brands, Costco came out with a ball. They're the Kirkland brand. Costco.
Kirkland? No.
Okay,
Oh my God! Kirkland now makes everything.
They came out with a ball
multivitamins
that I was fortunate. I was fortunate enough to play, not because I bought it, because it's hard to get because they sell out. 24 balls, I believe, they're priced at $29.95, and this Kirkland ball is a premium ball. Now, is it the Titleist Pro V1? No, but it's got characteristics. I played it, and at that price point, Costco can't keep them in the stores. At $29.95 for 24. You're buying a box of 24 balls.
Costco's an amazing company. They sell 90% of the wine in America.
I learned that this year. It's amazing.
Yeah. The top 4 distributors are Walmart's number 1, Costco's number 2, Kroger's number 3, and Amazon's number 4.
Yeah.
Kroger's a confusing one because Kroger's grocery stores, but when they buy a chain like in Arizona, they own Fry's, but they don't change it to Kroger's. If you're in Kansas where I grew up, it was Dillon's. But every state, their biggest grocery store chain is a Kroger.
Yeah.
And if you grew up in, like I did in Kansas, you shopped at different grocery stores. When I came to Arizona, I was, went this or that. But the minute I went into Fry's, I thought, damn, this is just like Dillon's.
Yeah.
And it took me 10 years before I learned it is Dillon's.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is. But so Costco's got good value.
Costco's got it. It's just the Kirkland ball. I mean, I would buy that ball. For $29.95 for 24. But on the other side, it's a very good golf ball.
Nice.
Yeah.
The tip of the day. See, you made money watching Ahwatukee Uncensored.
And then, of course, you got different price points. I mean, you got guys that will, they'll buy a $1 ball that's, used for $1. And, buy a dozen balls for $12. And they don't care what brand it is. As long as it looks somewhat new and clean, they'll play it.
Yeah.
So You got different types of players that were willing to spend. I mean, I'm sure just like in any hobby or sport, I mean, you got guys that they're gadget guys, and gadget guys got the latest iPhone, the latest Mac, and the iWatch, and they want top of line equipment because they're used to premium product. Then there are guys that I know they got a lot of money, but they're just, I'll be honest, they're just flat out cheap. They're cheap. The guy that lives in a shoebox, that's a millionaire that you never knew because he's hanging on. He'll buy the cheap ball.
So I'm going to keep going down the torso.
Let's do it.
Club, ball, shoes. Shoes matter?
Shoes changed over the years. When I grew up, it was metal spikes. The metal spike went away to the soft spike. 1996, the soft spike, the metal spike went away. And nowadays, people are playing in athletic-looking type of golf shoes. People are playing in shoes you'd go to the gym with, your Nike, Adidas, whatever it is, and play golf in.
So there's no spikes on them?
Not the metal spike. No, you can't even buy metal spikes anymore.
Yeah.
In the stores, they don't sell them.
And where do you recommend buying golf shoes?
Gosh, you can buy golf shoes. Well, obviously online. You got Golf Galaxy, which is on Ray Road and I-10. What used to be called Golfsmith is now Golf Galaxy.
Golf Galaxy, Ray Road,
and I-10, and then up the road.
Explain to Ray Road and I-10.
So just on the east side of the 10 freeway off Ray. So it's actually, I believe, 54th Street.
So it's in Chandler?
Chandler.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's in Chandler. It's not Ahwatukee. Okay, so you take Ray Road across the I-10.
And then hang a right at your first street, and Golfsmith is right there in that shopping center.
Okay.
The other one up the street.
Well, what else is next to it?
Dick's in that area. What's over there? There's a Home Depot in that complex. There's other stores in that.
Is that
complex.
where Home Depot, Bed Bath and Beyond?
There you go.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Golf Galaxy, and then you got Dick's Sporting Goods store.
Okay, Dick's
Which
Sporting.
is, I don't know, what is that? I don't know if that's Chandler, Tempe, or is that City of Phoenix? I have no idea. That's off of Warner, right off the freeway. You know where IKEA is?
Yeah.
Just right there, right in IKEA, right there. Dick's Sporting Goods.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
we got Big Five. I mean, where else you got? I mean, a lot of the other
Dick's
stores.
Sporting Goods was in the news recently. Obviously, Amazon has been the kingpin from
there you go, Amazon. You can buy golf shoes on Amazon.
Whatever. But if you just chop off the last 5 years and just look at percent growth, it was in that book, The Four Horsemen, where they talked about what are the four horsemen? Amazon, Apple, Google, and Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So if you obviously know who the winners are already, but if you just go back 5 years now, you know who the fastest growing online distributor is on the internet?
Amazon.
Macy's.
Macy's, really?
And Amazon's fifth.
Okay.
So if didn't last because when Jeff Bezos started selling online, I mean, eventually everybody realized, okay, we got to do this too.
Right.
But if you just go back 5 years, Macy's is the fastest growing
wow.
online, and Dick's Sporting Goods is number 2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And Amazon's number 5, and Walmart is going online with vengeance.
Yeah.
So Jeff Bezos, we're the only guy doing it, is gone.
Right.
And now everybody's trying to sell online.
Right.
So I only got you for 3 minutes left. It's October. We're coming up on Christmas. What are your favorite Christmas gift golf gadgets? Do any of them fit in a stocking under the tree? Or if Grandpa just loved golf, is there any gadget toys that you think would make him smile on the golf course?
I would say either some sort of GPS watch, handheld, or what's called a rangefinder. It's a laser. It looks like a little binoculars. You shoot it. It picks up anything reflective and will give you exact yardage.
And who makes that?
Well, you got Bushnell and Garmin.
Bushnell and Garmin. And what kind of price range are you talking about?
They vary. I mean, there are other companies, but I've seen price ranges at $125 up to $500.
That would be would it fit in the Christmas stocking?
Oh, absolutely. And they're this big. It's like that big.
Yeah.
Big as a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Speaking of the smartphone, do you use any apps?
I do. I use an app called V1. Let's see. As far as what V1 is, it's a software that allows me to record someone's swing, break it down in slow motion. It allows me to draw graphics on the video. I can send it by email. I can do a voiceover. recap.
So you're taking a picture of a student,
right.
and you can do a voiceover or draw a gadget or, or circle something.
So I can send that to them.
And it's called just V1?
It's called V is in Victory, 1.
Victory
V1 software.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And how much is that app?
Well, the app, they have different versions. I mean, there's a free app. There's an app a consumer can pay $39.95. And then for people that teach and coach what I do, then there's a program. It's about $100 a month. So, I mean, there's different tiers. Depends on what you use it for. So it's available for consumer golfer or teaching pro like myself.
Nice. What if you were at Barnes & Noble? Any book you like on? Say Grandpa's a book reader. He always or a golf book, golf subscription magazine. Any golf magazine better than other? Any books?
I'll go over the magazine is starting to fade. In my opinion, it's going to be gone in the next couple of years. Golf Digest is the leader.
Really?
I would say there's two publications that in my opinion were big at one time: Golf Digest and Golf Magazine.
And they're just getting thinner and thinner.
They're getting
and thinner.
thinner and thinner. I mean, it's just because you get it on the internet for free.
Yeah.
Right. So their magazine at one time, I used to monthly subscribe, was that thick.
How thick was it?
Really that thick.
Yeah.
Now it's like a few pages. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like, well, I don't even look at it anymore. And one of the reasons why I don't look at it, because in my opinion, they're coming out with stuff just to put golf instruction. Even the golf instruction is dwindling in there. They're coming up. They don't have enough ideas to come up with.
You know, I'll tell you what. It's tough if you're the Arizona Republic,
Right.
the New York Times, because, I mean, I know hardcore newspaper readers, and they say I'd rather read it on my phone. They'd rather go to Apple News and read on the phone. They don't want to walk out they don't want to wait for the paper. So yeah, that's kind of like going the way of the Yellow Pages, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, when they put a Yellow Pages by my door, it goes straight to the recycle bin. I mean, when's the last time you used the Yellow Pages?
I can't remember. It's been that long. 5 years ago, maybe 6 years.
And you were little. How often did you use it?
To stand on when I was a kid. It was a booster chair, booster seat.
Yeah.
You know, as far as a book, I would say, I mean, I can't recommend anything as far as instructional wise, but a book that had interest was Hank Haney was Tiger Woods' coach at one time and wrote a book just after they parted
What's his
ways.
name?
Hank Haney, Haney. First name Hank.
Hank
Hank Haney was Tiger
That sounds
Woods.
like a Hollywood name.
Yeah, Hank Haney.
Did his producer give him that name, or do you think
I
that's
don't know.
his real name?
That's his real name. And he wrote a book called The Big Miss. And I
Miss.
personally haven't read it, but it was kind of, from what reviews were said about the book, because Tiger basically fired him, terminated their agreement. He said some things about Tiger in the book that I guess could be somewhat controversial, but you know, if there's anything that a person could read about golf, you know, you've got books on golf history, you've got famous people that have, you know, biographies, autobiographies about Arnold Palmer, Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods.
Is it true the game was invented in Scotland?
You know, there really is, I mean, that's considered the home of golf. But as far, I mean, there's some historians that say the Chinese invented golf thousands and thousands of years ago.
You know what I'm most proud of? I have gone to dental conventions in 6 different cities in America that had the museum where ice cream was invented.
Is that right?
So I have personally gone and seen 6 different places that invented ice cream. So when they say it's a tourist trap, it really, really is a tourist trap. And I don't think anybody really knows where ice cream invented. But as a dentist, I'm very proud. It's a fact. You can look it up on Wikipedia. Cotton candy was invented by a dentist.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and it was first called, what was it first called, Brian? Tooth Fairy?
What is it?
Cotton candy? I think it was
Fairy floss.
Fairy Floss. Yeah, named after Tooth Fairy Floss.
Okay.
But then it got renamed as Cotton Candy. But, so, final pitch, how they like you, they want to be a better golfer. What do they do next?
Just contact me at azgolfinstructor.com. You always text me, 602-828-4653. And if you're curious and want to know, I mean, I always recommend start with one session. I'm very confident in my skills of 20 plus years that you're going to improve the day of the lesson. See if there's a good fit, and I'm very confident there is, and I can help you achieve the goals that you want to achieve.
And a little daddy and mommy. Mom played, say, college golf, and she really wants Junior or their daughter to really be a good golfer and get a scholarship to ASU someday. Right. What age would you recommend?
You know, every kid's different. I mean, if I had an ideal age, I would say 7.
Which is second grade?
7, that's second grade.
Second grade?
Second grade, and you know, see where the child's at. I mean, sometimes parents have their, you know, their views and their wishes of what they want their son or daughter to do, but it really ultimately comes down to the kid. And if I see a desire in a child, I mean, sky's the limit that what they can do. I mean, the percentage is very low that they're going to play pro golf. That's just out the window.
Right.
You know, it's even getting a scholarship, that is a very low thing because not many scholarships are handed out as compared to football.
Yeah.
Basketball. Football is obviously number one, but can that happen? Of course it can, but I always leave it up to the child. What is his or her desire? How hungry are they? I mean, I can't go back in time because my high school didn't have a team, but if the way I am with golf at age 16 or was, I would have gone to I mean, I know kids do. Some kids do this. They will go to the range prior to school.
Wow.
Because they're hungry. They love it. They're passionate, but they're hungry. They want to be the best that they can be. And then, of course, when school's over, they're at the golf course. Now, in my experience, I don't see any kids showing up this summer at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. I mean, we're open at 5. No kids are showing up. No parents are dropping their kids off this summer. Why is that? I have no idea. Where is that? Maybe they're doing it at some course in the valley. You can say it's hot. We can make it doable. In the morning when it's not hot, it's doable. In the evening.
And the one thing Ryan and I always say, we always say it is, people say 5 o'clock's too early. Well, if you commit to 5 o'clock, you just start falling asleep earlier, and it's all relative. I mean, when you wake up, it's some hour every hour all the way around the planet.
Right.
I mean, what's exactly on the other side of Phoenix is New Delhi.
Right.
So if it's 5 o'clock in the morning there, it's 5 o'clock for dinner. It doesn't matter. Somewhere on the earth, it's just time to wake up. But if you start getting up the same day every morning, instead of staying up late watching late night TV, you fall asleep at 8:30, and then when 5 o'clock comes around, you're totally rested.
Yeah.
But hey, I just think it's really, really cool that at the end of a long day of work, it's dark outside, and before you went home, you stopped by to talk to my Ahwatukee homies, and I just think it was a very fun hour, Rob.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show. I was excited to be here, and it was a fun show. I learned some new stuff from you, just from the facts that you're throwing out there.
It's Rob Camacho at azgolfinstructor.com. Give him a call. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Howard.